Today I'm speaking with Jáchym Maclean Allen, the frontman and vocalist of the Prague-based rock band Avant-Alpa. Jáchym, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What do you think sets your band apart from others on the scene?
I don't know. I feel like one thing is me being a native speaker. A lot of people say they feel like it's more natural to write and sing in English, but the real reason is that they don't really realize how they sound.
You recently changed your drummer. How does he fit with the rest of the band?
Yeah, I think we really scored a jackpot on him. One thing we were really scared of when we were switching out our drummer, we've only had a few practices with him, but so far I think it's going really good. We've made a bunch of progress teaching him all the songs that he's only hearing for the first time, and we're able to really get it done. You know, we're doing 1-2 songs per practice, which is great pace in my opinion. We really have an understanding for each other. I think he fits really well into the group.
Okay, and do you think he's like a step up?
Yeah, I'd say so. You know, finding a drummer is very hard, I'd say, because especially in Prague, big city, you know, most people live in apartments, and it's very hard to find a drummer because it's very hard to be a drummer, you know. You have to have drums at home, be able to practice, and drums are a very loud instrument. And so yeah, it's very hard. It's very difficult finding a drummer.
Yeah.
I'd say
That makes sense.
probably the hardest instrument to find. So yeah, our drummer isn't from Prague, pretty far away, but we make it work, and we're hoping to be able to play a show as soon as possible.
You released an EP last summer. What was the recording process like, and did anything surprise you?
Yeah, it was great. I was really surprised by, I guess, how smoothly it went. We were expecting it to be way more difficult. And yeah, we spent 4 days at the studio, and we're expecting to finish 3 songs max. But in the end, we managed to do 4. Probably if we tried, we could maybe even recorded a 5th track. But yeah, it went really smoothly. By the way, shout out to Echo Studio, Eric and Vasek over there. You did an amazing job. It was our first experience recording. The main thing that surprised me was how smoothly it ended up going.
Mm-hmm. And are you planning on building on that release with some new music this year?
We'd love to. You know, it's very difficult to find the time to do so with work and school and all that. Also, the setback with switching out our drummer, because we had to teach our new drummer all of the songs, I guess, from scratch. We basically got it down, and then we can hopefully start working on some new material. We've been hoarding new material, waiting to teach him all the songs to finally be able to finish that up. So I think that as soon as we get back into composing, it's going to be a very smooth process, and should be able to shoot out a few tracks in a pretty short amount of time. So hopefully we can get back into the studio sometime this year and follow up with a second either album or EP.
And who would you say is the main songwriter in the band, and where does the inspiration usually come from?
Yeah. I wouldn't say there's a main songwriter. At the start, it would always be one person comes up with an idea and then brings it to the band, and then we would jam for a few hours, build on that, slowly come up with other parts, you know. First we would do the instrumental part, and then I would make up the lyrics and the vocal part or on top of that. The lyrics are primarily written by me.
Okay, and are there any singers or artists who have had a major influence on you?
Yeah, definitely. But geez, really put me on the spot right there. What do I say? You know, there's been many over the years. I'd say who really inspired me the most to first start trying to experiment with the vocal stuff. It's got to be Julian Casablancas from The Strokes. You know, that raspy grit he's got. More recently, I've really been digging New York band Geese. It reminds me of Julian's voice. If I had to choose one, it's got to be Julian Casablancas.
And what role does clothing play in your performances? Do you see it as an important part of your image?
Not for us, no. We really love to get the band to do more dressing up for shows, but so far, usually we just wear whatever we feel like. Don't really think of any dress codes or anything like that for performances we have. So not for us, no. It is something I'd like to do more in the future.
Speaking of future, how do you see the future of the band over the next few years?
Very difficult question. Right now, it's been hard switching out the drummer and basically doing everything from scratch again. So our primary focus right now is to get back into having gigs as soon as possible, and then possibly I think we'd love to get back in the studio this year and dish something out.
All right. That's something to look forward to. Jáchym, thank you so much for your time and for speaking with me today.
Thanks for having me.